There's a saying that goes, if you find your mentor's mentor, you're going to inevitably be successful. Why do I say this? Well, the thing is, a lot of people nowadays see Alex Hormozi as a mentor. He's one of the most, if not the most popular business people, entrepreneurs in the online space. He has one of the biggest personal brands, and his entire brand is built on providing free value, right? So he always attempts to give more than he receives. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Hadi Solman. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 13 years at this point. I've had multiple businesses. I run this company at the current moment called Compass. What I'm about to show you are the two main books that Alex Hormozi took most of his ideas from. Now, again, this is not an expose video. I'm just telling you the stuff that I found extremely beneficial. The thing is, there's a video, and we're going to move here to the whiteboard. By the way, I apologize for looking messy. It's early morning here. It's about 6 a.m. But basically, there's a very old video where Hormozi talks about the books that he finds most valuable, right? And the thing is, most of the books that he talks about, so he talks about, like, I might play the video here. I'm not too sure because I might get copyrighted.
I buy about 50 books a year. I skim most of them and I study a select few. Here are the only books that I have studied and I reread every so often in no order. Number one is Influence by Robert Cialdini. The second book is Persuasion, also by Robert Cialdini. Third is 50 Scientific Ways of Getting to Yes, which is also Cialdini. Four is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. One to Many by Jason Fladlien. Number six was Ready, Fire, Aim. Number seven is How to Make Friends and Influence People. 8 is Wooden on Leadership. Number 9 was Bezos's Letters to Shareholders. 10 was $100 Million Offers, and I have to say that I studied it more because I've read that book more than any other book because I wrote it. Sales Acceleration Formula by Mark Roberts. Predictable Revenue by Aaron Ross. And the final one, which I have, which is number 13, is The Motive by Patrick Lencioni. Those are the 13 books that probably most influenced my business career.
But you have Cialdini. If you don't know who Cialdini is, Robert Cialdini is like a psychology dude. Then you have two main people. So if you've read Hormozi's books. So Hormozi has two main books here. I'm going to clean up this thing right here. So Hormozi has $100 million leads, right? And we're going to make this nice and cute here. And then we're going to do $100 million offers. The thing is, $100 million leads is, honestly, it's not Hormozi's best book. Like, because advertising as a concept is hard to distill, right? But $100 million offers shows a much younger Hormozi, a Hormozi that is much more willing to quote people, a Hormozi that is much more willing to tell you where he got his ideas from. If you read this book, right, you're going to find that there's two main people that Hormozi took his ideas from. And I'm about to tell you the two main books that you should read. Now, Hormozi has a short, right, where he talks about, again, as I said before, the top books. There's a lot of books in there, a lot of books that talk about marketing in general, a lot of books that are about persuasion, books that are stories, but there's two main books. The first one is Expert Secrets. Now, if you've read Expert Secrets, you don't necessarily need to read Expert Secrets. I'll tell you exactly what it's about. It's about perfect webinar, right? That's basically like a webinar is essentially a structure for a presentation, right? A seminar, webinar. And Russell Brunson, who's the CEO of ClickFunnels, basically teaches you how to distill messaging on how to sell your product into a webinar. And he teaches that in depth in that book called Expert Secrets. It's a little far from me. I have both of these books that I'm about to mention. But this book basically outlines most of the one-to-many selling principles that Hormozi gets. Now, out of all the books that Hormozi mentioned, why am I picking these two? Firstly, as I said before, there's, like, again, the way that marketing and business works is that obviously there's the fundamentals, right? That's where you start off. The fundamentals of marketing are, many. It's kind of hard to understand. And, it takes years, if not decades, to actually nail the fundamentals of marketing. The second thing that you have is strategy. Strategy is basically what you prioritize, the bigger clusters that you focus on in business. The third thing are tactics. Now, the thing is, although eventually, yes, you should learn the fundamentals, the tactics are actually the most valuable when it comes to getting quick wins. Because I'll tell you what happens. Usually, tactics don't last very long, right? If somebody tells you like a traffic tactic, like, it's basically a hack. You're going to be in business for like a month or two using that traffic hack or whatever little hack that you learn, right? It's going to work for a few months, and then after that, like, it's going to stop working. But the benefit of the tactic is that it reinforces you for staying in the game. So if you try to learn the fundamentals without actually applying the tactics, it's going to take you so long. Like it might take you 2 years, 3 years, maybe even a decade before you actually start seeing results. And that really discourages people from playing the game. But if you're very lucky, you're going to find that there are such things as timeless tactics. And the two books that I'm about to outline for you that Hormozi like basically picked himself with his own words are the two most tactical books that he chose out of all the books that he recommended. The first one, obviously, that I already mentioned is Expert Secrets. The second one, I'm about to name it for you after I write Expert Secrets, is One Too Many by Jason Fladlien. One Too Many. Both of these are basically about presentation structures. This is also about webinars. Now, the thing is this. One to Many has an offer portion. Let me tell you a little bit more about the author first. So obviously, Expert Secrets is by Russell Brunson. Russell Brunson is, the CEO of ClickFunnels, stuff like that. One to Many is written by Jason Fladlien. I don't know how to spell his last name. I think it's like this. Maybe it's Lein. Jason Fladlien, interestingly, this dude is the most quoted man in $100 million offers. Isn't that interesting? And the thing is, if you look at, if you actually read $100 million offers, most of what Hormozi talks about is actually outlined in One to Many. Actually, I'm pretty sure Hormozi gave Jason Fladlien, a testimonial, which Hormozi barely does. He doesn't usually give people testimonials. Hormozi gave Jason Fladlien a testimonial where he said, Jason, you're amazing, and your stuff on offer creation is the best stuff that I've ever seen. How interesting. So Alex Hormozi, the dude who is the #1 authority on offers in the business world, is telling you that this guy has amazing stuff on offer creation. How interesting. So the reason why I love these two books, and I've read both of them several times, is that they basically teach you, this is what they actually teach you. They teach you messaging, and they teach you structuring of what exactly? This is the main thing that they teach you. Presentation. And what is a presentation? At the end of the day, presentation is an exhibition of ideas distilled in a simple way to turn the person from, a stranger into a customer. That's what a presentation is. These presentations can be done in different ways. We have things like VSLs, video sales letters. We also have things like, even a sales call at the core of it is a presentation. Like, you structure it like a presentation, but you have more leverage in a sales call because instead of you telling them what the pain is, they tell you, right? A webinar is a presentation. Now, the thing is, both of these individuals, what they did is they applied all of these concepts to webinars. So this is all they talked about. They were like one to many webinars. What a webinar is basically, again, there's one dude with a presentation selling to multiple people, right? You can do this on stage, it becomes a seminar, or you can do it on the web, it becomes a webinar. All of these dudes basically taught these concepts, these tactics in both these books, One to Many and Expert Secrets. They taught them in webinar form. So again, they applied these fundamentals, these strategies, and tactically focused in on the webinar structure in particular. But here's the interesting thing. What Hormozi did is he took the tactics from these books that were applied to webinars, and he applied them to sales calls and to VSLs. That's basically all he did. And again, if you look at Hormozi's $100 million leads launch, what the hell's going on here? Sorry about that. I don't know, my iPad's been bugging lately. If you look at the $100 million leads launch, you're going to see that the entire thing is structured based on these two books. The entire thing. You read these two books, you're going to see exactly how Hormozi structures everything. In fact, I had a client of mine that went to one of Hormozi's workshops, which, by the way, is just a one-to-many presentation. At the end of those workshops, I think it's a 2-day or a 3-day workshop, you know what Hormozi does? He gets on the stage and he sells people into like a $42,000 program or something crazy like that. But anyways, what I was saying was that both of these books, hold on, let me put my laptop on charge here. Sorry. So if you look at the $100 million leads launch, it's basically the exact same thing. And sorry, my client that went to Hormozi's workshop, he actually said that when he asked about VSLs, video sales letters, Hormozi's team, or I don't recall, maybe Hormozi himself, recommended this book right here, One to Many. So like, you know, it's like everybody's on the surface. You know, everybody's listening to Hormozi and the stuff that he says. But if you go one step deeper, you're going to find that the people that Hormozi stands on the shoulders of have much deeper and much more tactical information because it's more complete. Like Hormozi teaches you one portion of it. Basically, he takes like the offer component and he focuses in on it. And when you simplify concepts that are complicated to some degree for the world, you gain a lot of popularity. Right? It's a very good way to write a book, simplifying concepts. But there is no completeness to Hormozi's like books. You know, maybe there will be after his new book launch, $100 million Money Models, I think is the name of his new books. But if you read these two books, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you, you will get a complete idea, A through Z, of the marketing process. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, like the video, subscribe to the damn channel. I'll see you guys later. Ciao.